Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Stylist and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we will be talking about the best horror movies to stream right now on Shudder. Let's get into the video. Okay, so hi, hello. I haven't posted in a few days, but a bitch is back. She's back. And she's got her bimbo ghost face mask right there with the matching knife that she made for Monster Mania last weekend. Okay, but really, if you want to see my really cool original bimbo ghost face cosplay, you should check me out on Instagram. I have some fun pictures with Jamie Kennedy and some fun pictures of the whole outfit. So be there. Okay, so we are here to do yet another Shudder video. It's actually been a while since I've done a best horror movies to stream on Shudder video. I like to do these every few months because I feel like we get so much good, underrated stuff on Shudder. So the majority of this list, for those that are gonna come and comment and be like, these are all old. Yes, I am listing some older films because I feel like they are underrated and I want to give you something you have not seen. Even if it's old, if you haven't seen it, aren't you here for that? Okay, but really, I did a mix-up of some old films, some giallo, some vampire movies. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in here, Lovecraftian horror. All right, and with that being said, let's get right into the list. At number 10, we have Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, directed by Juan Lopez Moctezuma. A beautiful bisexual artist moonlights as a vampire while in Mexico, killing lovers of both sex. It seems that the only person who has any chance of stopping her reign of terror is her father, who's also a vampire. This has got to be one of the craziest synopsises I have ever read in my life. But that makes sense because this movie is also pretty crazy. I actually did discuss a little bit about this movie in my 10 horror films for Pride Month video. This film is a lot of fun. It, for me, feels like a Mexican giallo vampire movie. It's like so many things in one. It's artsy, it's beautiful. The performances are really great, especially from our lead. And there are some genuinely scary moments in the film. Like I said in my previous video, the entire beach scene is so good. And I just love this movie. I have seen it a total of 2 times now, and I'm definitely going to be watching it way more. I really just want a Blu-ray of this film. If anyone knows where to get one, hit me up. But really, if you are looking for a horror film that has a bisexual girly, you like vampires, you like giallo, you like this mystery, whodunit, what's going on, this is for you. And speaking of vampire baddies, at number 9, we have Daughters of Darkness, directed by Harry Kumel. While passing through a vacation resort, a newlywed couple encounters a mysterious, strikingly beautiful countess and her aide. Okay, so clearly I was going through like a super gay vampire baddie moment. Because I did watch Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary and Daughters of Darkness around the same time. Daughters of Darkness is a really fun, yet again, artsy film. The acting is really good, especially from our lead who plays the Countess. She's amazing. But not only is our lead really great, we do have a really interesting story, and I just think that the dynamic between all of the main characters is so interesting. The movie really keeps you on your toes. There's a lot of weirdness going on, and it's so gorgeous. This film is shot so beautifully. I really, really like this film, and I can't wait to watch it again. if you're into more artsy vampire films, then you'll definitely like this one. Now at number 8, we have The Clove Hitch Killer, directed by Duncan Skiles. A picture-perfect family is shattered when the work of a serial killer hits too close to home. Okay, so this film stars Dylan McDermott, and I love Dylan McDermott. I had first seen him in American Horror Story years ago in the first season, and I've been a fan since. He is a wonderful actor. I feel like he's super underrated, and he is absolutely fabulous in this movie. If you're into true crime and films that are about serial killers, then you're really gonna like this one. This one I would say may be a little more thriller-ish than it is horror, but I mean, the nature of the story is horrific, so I feel like it counts. I think another reason why this film is so good is because it really does feel so realistic and like it could happen, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people are scared of. At least I am. So I think this one is very good, and I feel like it doesn't get as much recognition as it deserves. Now let's get into the goth baddie territory. At number 7, we have The Whip and the Body, directed by Mario Bava. The ghost of a sadistic nobleman attempts to rekindle his romance with his terrorized, masochistic former lover, who is unwillingly engaged to his brother. Okay, so this film stars Christopher Lee and Dahlia Lavi, and they're both amazing. I mean, Christopher Lee is an icon, and Dahlia Lavi is really great. I've just become familiar with her because of a couple films of hers that are on Shudder. I recently watched Il Demonio, and she's really great in that. And she is just a very alluring, very compelling actress. So she's really great in this film, and she's great with Christopher Lee. I think this film is so fun because it's basically like one of the horniest movies I've ever seen in my life. This is definitely one of those old horror films that are very gothic and romantic and sad. It makes you feel things. The score is beautiful. The film looks beautiful. I mean, hello, it's directed by Mario Bava. He does an amazing job here. I'm really starting to see why so many people love all of the gothic work that Mario Bava has done, and I'm really happy to just delve more into his films. I was only familiar with his giallos, so it's really fun to see him do something like this that's completely different. I just love this. This is definitely for my goth baddies out there. This is the one. And speaking of giallo, at number 6, we have one of my favorites that I couldn't not put on this list, of course, if you know me. This is The Case of the Bloody Iris, directed by Giuliano Caramillo. Having recently escaped the clutches of a hippie sex cult, a beautiful model played by Edwidge Fenech, is pursued by a serial killer whose previous victims include former occupants of her new apartment. Okay, so if you haven't heard me talk about this film enough, this film stars Edwidge Fenech and George Hilton. Of course it does. I love this movie. I love those actors. This film is so fun. The twist here, and when you find out who the killer is absolutely ridiculous, as most giallo is. And it's just a lot of fun, not to mention it's so gorgeous. There are some shots of Edwidge that I'm never going to forget about. I'm never going to forget about them. They're so beautiful. And of course, if we're talking about a giallo, I do have to mention the score in this film. The music is absolutely iconic. It's absolutely iconic! But on a serious note, if you are looking for a fun giallo, a good whodunit story, then I definitely recommend Case of the Bloody Iris. Now at number 5, let's talk about my girlies. We have The Stylist, directed by Jill Gavargazian. A lonely hairstylist becomes obsessed with the lives of her clients and descends into murderous madness. Okay, so The Stylist is actually a really fun little indie movie. It has really fun performances from our 2 female leads. I'm a big fan of Brie Grant, and she does a great job here. This film also really looks pretty. I love the cinematography and the lighting that they use throughout the film. It really just captures the tone. You can just feel her loneliness throughout the film. It's very sad, and in some ways it can be relatable. I like that while watching this film, I could definitely see that there was a lot of inspiration from Maniac, and Maniac is a really good film. I actually love both versions. But I do prefer the version with Elijah Wood. I'm so sorry. I know most people think that's like sacrilegious or something, but I mean, whatever. My opinion doesn't change your life, so... But anyways, back to The Stylist. This is a lot of fun. I highly recommend this one if you haven't seen it yet. And I am really excited to see more of what Jill does in the horror genre. Now at number 4, we have Spring, directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. A young man in a personal tailspin flees from the US to Italy, where he sparks up a romance with a woman harboring a dark primordial secret. Okay, so I actually have talked about this film before. I believe it was on my Tubi list, because I believe it is on Tubi as well. But this film stars Lou Taylor Pucci, and I am a huge Lou Taylor Pucci stan. He's so great. He's so underrated. What a great actor. Whenever I talk about Spring, I always just say that this feels like a film that I would write. It feels super personal to me. I just love the entire romance between the 2 characters. And it's just written so well. Not to mention, there's a lot of really cool sequences in this movie. And it's so good. It's such a good movie. It's very sad. It's effective. It's beautiful. I love it. I love this movie. I honestly couldn't recommend it more. It is so good. It is so good. I'm telling you, if you like a little horror, romance, sci-fi, definitely check out Spring. It is a good one, and it is definitely underrated. And speaking of underrated, at number 3, we have The Addiction, directed by Abel Ferrara. A New York philosophy grad student turns into a vampire after getting bitten by one, and then tries to come to terms with her new lifestyle and frequent craving for human blood. This film stars an absolute baddie, Lily Taylor, and another baddie, Edie Falco, and they're both amazing in it. Not to mention, Abel Ferrara is a really talented filmmaker in his own right. I actually recently did an entire review of this film, so if you'd like to check it out, I'm just gonna link it right up there. This is a gorgeous black and white film. It's shot so beautifully. There are a lot of moments where you just can't look away. This film is sad, it's funny, it's just so good. Oh my god. Honestly, there are so many movies on here that are so good, I can't even handle it. I love vampirism being a metaphor for addiction. I think brilliant. It was brilliantly executed, and this movie, it's just so good. It's definitely universally relatable. And now at number 2, we have a film from the Netherlands. We have The Columnist, directed by Eva van Aert. A columnist must continuously deal with threats and negative comments on her social media pages. Sounds like me. One day, she has had enough and decides to hunt down her trolls. Oh my gosh, I love this movie. Every time I read the synopsis of this film, it definitely hits me because it just sounds like my life. But on a serious note, this film stars Katja Erbers, who she is amazing. I love her. You would actually recognize her from the TV show Evil, which that show is so good and so underrated. She is a fabulous actress, and I just love this movie. I feel like more people need to talk about this one. This is definitely a movie for the girlies. She's a baddie. What more can I say? I also really haven't seen many horror films from the Netherlands, so this was a really cool film to see. It's shot really beautiful as well, very artsy, really like it. Now at number 1, we have a film that I go way back with, that I love. That was one of my first horror movie reviews ever here on the channel. It is Color Out of Space, directed by Richard Stanley. A secluded farm is struck by a strange meteorite which has apocalyptic consequences for the family living there and possibly the world. This film has an incredible cast. It has Nicolas Cage, Jolie Richardson, Elliot Knight, Madeline Arthur, and so many other talented people. This film is stunning. This is a Lovecraftian horror. It's a really engaging film, and it's so effective. There are some genuine, really nasty moments in this movie, and I almost didn't expect it to like go there, because when you first start out, it just kind of seems like family friendly. And then the film just goes there, and it gets really gross and really body horror-ish. If you're not really into body horror, you have a weird stomach, maybe you don't want to watch this one, but I love this movie. And Nicolas Cage's performance in this film is absolutely bonkers. I mean, he is bonkers. He's amazing. He's one of my favorite actors. He does a great job. I could watch this movie over and over again. This film is just a lot of fun, and I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to give too much away of the story, but the ending is really great. Also, this film is just like really poetic. I love that. Not to mention just all the use of pink and purple in this movie. Chef's kiss, a bimbo girlie's dream. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, have you seen any of these films? What are some horror films on Shudder you'd like to recommend to me? I'd love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.